Without giving too much away in the plot, the story of American Song is a man examining the actions of his life and the consequences of those actions. It's a bit of a sort of modern contemporary Odyssey. The allegory is you see him when you arrive in the theatre building a wall, and essentially each stone is an action or an event that happens in your life, and you evaluate the collection of those events one after another. The issue, I guess, and what the story is about, if you want to change the course of your life, is altering one stone enough? Or do you have to change a whole range of stones? And which stone would you change? There's a whole range of things I really love about Joanna's character, Andy, in American Song, but I think at the core of him is a thing that will be really identifiable for a lot of characters, which is his reasonableness. He is such a very everyday man with a reasonable degree of intelligence, a reasonable amount of compassion, and yet tragedy has affected his life in a really dramatic way. And I think the kind of reasonable way he goes about examining that from a point of view that most audiences will find accessible is the quality of character that I find most attractive in playing him. Researching a character like Andy is a really complex exercise. There was a lot of basic information around certain events that happened in the play and that are mentioned, not historical events, but rather similar events. I'm being a little ambiguous because I don't want to necessarily give it away for anybody who hasn't been there, but there was some factual content that needed to be collected around the critical event. More than anything, though, built into the writing, it was largely about life experience. The notion of having had children, experience in life of working and moving, and just the struggle and ambitions of everyday families, and how to sort of realise that. And I found continually, once the facts were in place around the event, it was those experiences that tended to feed the character more than anything else. It's always a wonderful opportunity for an actor to revisit a role after a pause or break of a couple of years, and that's been the case with American Song. And I think there was so much about, in the initial rehearsal period, about can I do it? It's such a long piece, it's such a mammoth exercise for one actor, and they're all really true things and never to be taken lightly, because you'll end up in more strife than you can imagine so quickly. But revisiting it now, it's particularly challenging because in order to make it fresh, you have to find new ways of developing it, other ideas that will take the work further in your relationship with it. So that way you avoid the repetition of doing it again the same way, but ignite it somehow in a new format for yourself. And that's been particularly rewarding and very much part of what we've been doing in our rehearsal period, is to try and reinvigorate not only the things we knew, but take those a further step and maybe shed some new light on it, have some new smart ideas about what we're doing. It's been great. The way Joanna sort of portrays this single existence tragedy makes us realise that the things that we all have in common as people are the same struggles, the same desires to do well, to advance our children's causes, to fulfil our lives in a way that creates some purpose and some meaning. And the way that Joanna frames that in this play, I think, allows all of us to walk away feeling, well, yes, what I'm trying to do is valid. It is epic. And And that's very much a thing that I take away from the play, and I hope I can share that in the performance with the people who come and see it.